People were talking about things that had been hurting them, people that they did not know that were hurting them, that were stalking them, that were torturing them. They had bruises, they had pains, they had their lives destroyed, they had people around them who did nothing 24/7 but torture and harass them.
They talked to me after they implanted me, then they harassed me for years and years. At first I thought I was just going crazy because it was voices and threats all the time. I started going to the doctors, I started seeing doctors. I took psych meds I didn't need. I was forcefully admitted to hospitals that I didn't even want to go to, and harassed continuously by the same cop. He was a piece of shit. He was at Pat's house, and basically he carried in the drug test kit. He was a big tall cop who claimed he was a federal officer. There was another cop with long blonde hair with a mustache and beard that was there also.
When I showed this to the mental health clinic, they agreed that it looked likely that my age of onset for paranoid schizophrenia was wrong. The diagnosis they said was wrong. They offered to treat me for post-traumatic syndrome. They believed it. They even said police sometimes make mistakes, but we'll guarantee they won't bother you no more. I've got so much in records at this point. I've gone to lawyers, and the lawyers are intimidated. They back off. They won't show up at the meeting.
Almost everyone that complains of this eventually gets sent to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrists don't look into the technology. They don't do any research into whether or not any of this is possible.
Psychiatry is today over a $300 billion industry without a single cure. And as more and more breakthroughs are promised by psychiatrists, their running total of sick, injured, and dead victims continues to escalate. Unprotected, it is the public, you, who must fend for themselves.
Pays for about 2/3 of all the review of drugs. So in addition to the lobbying, the $200 million that James Steele talked about, there are direct cash payments under a 1992 law that the Congress unwisely passed. So we have lots of problems with this industry. It does a lot of good things, but it is increasingly a menace in this country and abroad. As part of globalization, we've globalized human experimentation, and it's a pretty nasty business.
I'm in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anybody with a back pain can understand something like that. Anybody with eye pains all the time, they have gone ahead and have put cardiacs in your eyes. People have gone blind. I'm not blind yet. Now, all of this is caused by the 24-hour attacks to your body, and we're talking, they can trip you. They can make you fall down. They can make you go to sleep. They cause you fatigue. They can choke you in your mouth. They can burn your mouth so that steam is coming out.
Varying in shifts, 3 to 4, 3 to 5 people. It varies and changes. This has been going on for coming up on a year. It's all day long. Medication has not and does not help or work. They are basically harassing me all day long for the purpose of reading my thoughts, reading my memories, mapping, I guess, whatever fluctuations or emotional memories or whatever it is that they're documenting or getting.
I woke up today with EMF pressing on my head and somebody accusing me of crimes. When I played Julio Iglesias Jr. music, when I was playing the air, they would attack me. They're hitting me a lot on my anal area with the HAARP weapons as frequencies, which is a violation.
And I started getting needle marks on my body twice a day. This has been going on since March 2005. I've been getting needle marks on me twice a day. And
industry, aside from what we just heard, which in terms of human experimentation is a major violator of both criminal and civil laws in the United States. I'd just like to add something to what James Steele said, which is we call this industry the Human Experimentation Corporations. The biggest human experimentation corporation is right here in the United States. It's called Quintiles. They do experiments for drug companies as quickly as they possibly can all over the world. We found an ad from Quintiles that sells to the drug industry. We help you recruit drug-naive subjects in many developing countries. So this industry...
Drug companies have used this myth to make billions moving vast quantities of psychotropic drugs into the bodies of unsuspecting consumers. The public has paid the ultimate price. An estimated half of all Americans who commit suicide are on psychotropic drugs. Annually, psychotropic drugs are estimated to kill more than 2.5 times more people than are killed by homicide. And who is entrusted with protecting the public against these dangerous psychotropic drugs? In the United States, it is the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, whose psychiatric drug advisory panels are dominated by psychiatrists who shuttle between the drug industry, academia, private practice, and government.
I tried to explain this to my friends and my family, everyone, and everyone's to think of them.
Canada need to wake the f up, okay? This is what I'm saying. Now, you tell me, when a fat fucking helicopter hovers that fucking close, that low, takes a photograph and leaves, what is that? You can throw up as many doctors as you want. It's not going to do you any good, okay? Now, I hope people, like, I've explained this at my blogger and at consend.org. You have to understand that just because someone says a helicopter hovered over their home with the guy in a helicopter hanging out of it with a camera doesn't mean he's fucking nuts, okay? It could be fucking true. Especially when you throw in all the things that have gone on in his life, okay? And the phone calls he's made and the inquiries he's made into the government. And you need to understand this. That yes, gang stalking is real and true, and this is what they do to people who speak out, okay? Remember that. Remember, God loves you.
They do this to a lot of targets like myself. No, electronic harassment as a whole with this surveillance is electronic surveillance. Turns the target, like myself, into a walking, talking piece of surveillance equipment. They have the ability to see through my eyes in real time, hear through my ears, everything that's said. And this was for top-level diplomats traveling abroad.
I have no home to go to. I have no hope in humanity. I have no friends, no family. Everybody says I'm crazy or I'm on drugs, and you know, they count on that. They count on that to say you're mentally ill, to have you committed or incarcerated. They count on everyone turning on you so you'll commit suicide. I'm telling you.
The heart of this issue is that the U.S. loses control, the U.S. government loses control in these foreign trials. I think what surprised us the most about this whole story is that there have always been some foreign clinical trials. That, on its face, is not new. What astonished us was the speed with which this has happened. The statistics that Juan quoted there at the beginning come from an Inspector General's report just released this last year. But the speed of this has actually accelerated very much in the last 5 to 10 years. It's not just Western Europe. It's parts of the former Soviet Republic.
Networking with other alleged targeted individuals. This is the result of being around this and that laceration of my tendons, which makes this arm not work so good anymore, due to going around alleged targeted individuals and not knowing who I was dealing with in reality. Just put it this way. Overt activism with covert warfare is not really going to work. So take that into consideration. I hope this was helpful. Good luck.
You've really got to be very, very sane, because the game here is a chase after your sanity. And the last thing you need to have a sense of humor about, and this is the weirdest thing, but you've got to do it, because although you're not targeted specifically by the evilarchy because you're you have been given this experience by God because you are you.
I'm sure there's maybe like a couple bad people out there who are aware of what's going on, but for the general part, I don't want to be like, oh, you know, my government is attacking me, because governments are composed of individuals. Most individuals out there are good people who want to do the same thing that I want to do, you know, go to work, take care of their families, that sort of thing. So I don't want to blame everyone in positions of power, but someone somewhere along the lines is abusing it. That's all.
$200,000 Americans every year. The award-winning team of Don Bartlett and Jim Steele investigate the globalization of the pharmaceutical industry and the U.S. government's failure to rein in a lethal profit machine. Finally, the drug industry has become the biggest defrauder of the federal government, surpassing even the defense industry.